Hi everyone. Sorry for any extra dry mouth you might hear. I just got done doing something that was like really anxious and then I felt better at the end. And so like I'm calm now, but I'm waiting for my dry mouth to go away. Like I've been drinking tons of water and it's still here. So sorry about that. Um, I hope everybody's doing okay. Just with all of the bullshit going on in the world. Not just America, but everywhere. No, not everywhere, but most places. No, not most places. Some places, I think, um, who are experiencing some bullshit going on in their country. Like, I really hope that um, you have a sense of safety, community, um, and hope because things do get better. That sounds pretty cringe, but it's true. Um, so I've been feeling nostalgic lately. I don't know why. And my mind was like, hey, you haven't listened to Avril Lavigne in so long. And I was like, you're right. So I put some on. I put on her first album, which is like way back in 2002. I think it was called like Let Me Go or Complicated or something. Do I have it up somewhere on my Let Go. I pulled up my Spotify. Um I like to sometimes listen to music that takes me back to like a certain place in my life where things were good. Uh-oh. Sorry, I got some scratchy voice too. I'm not sick. Don't worry. What was I saying? Oh yes, music that takes me back to certain places. I don't know if it's like the holiday season that makes me nostalgic because I realize that I do this a lot around the holidays, but like I never look back on my childhood memories around holidays because those were never good. Um, so my mind decides to take me other places that were good and that are memorable for me in a good way. And so I've been listening to Avril Lavigne lately, um, from the very first record, and I'm working my way up through to the current times or current music because I haven't heard a lot of her current stuff. Um, but last night I listened to the Let Go album from 2002, and oh my God, it was so wonderful. Like I was just like doing some coloring and like singing along to the lyrics because it brought me back to the beginning of my military career. So before I realized I was in a cult, um, I was living in the dorms. Not a fun situation, but I had my own room and I shared a kitchen and a bathroom with somebody on the other side who's called like I don't know if they still call them that, but they were called like piss mates because you shared the toilet in the kitchen and that's it. Um, Fun fact, and not fun and probably really off-putting. And I don't know why I'm going to say this, but when I was in the military and I lived in the dorms and my piss mate was just obnoxious and just had sex like every other night. It was so loud, and so gross and so disturbing. Um, And a lot of the times she would knock on my door, like from the connecting one, which I kept locked all the time. And she constantly wanted to hang out and stuff. So I'm not into that kind of stuff. So I would pee a lot in my sink in my room. Like we had a sink and a mirror in each individual room. And I hopped up on there and I took a piss to avoid having to go to the bathroom and possibly have her see me. Um, I was like 19, 20 years old. So it just seemed like a logical decision. And I just decided to share that. And now I regret it. But anyways, I remember being in my room a lot. Like this is all from the dorms. And I got to move out sooner rather than later because I couldn't handle trying to sleep at odd hours with all of the drinking and the partying going around in the dorms. It's just so fucking annoying. Um, At least like when I wasn't taking part. But anyways, I holed up in my room and I listened to a whole bunch of Avril Lavigne. That first album, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've heard since Jagged Little Pill. By the way, Canada produces awesome fucking artists. Awesome. Um, Alanis Morissette, Avril, um, Sarah McLachlan, I think she's Canadian, and like a whole bunch more that I just now forgot. Um, I don't like the Bare Naked Ladies though. I'm pretty sure they come from Canada. I'm not into that kind of music, but anyways, there's a lot of good singers that come from Canada, and I think that's why Avril Lavigne reminded me of like Alanis's Jagged Little Pill album. Uh, but anyways, it was just so calming to me. I quickly learned all the lyrics when, like, looking back, when I was feeling anxious, I would put that CD on because, yes, uh, there were CDs back in the day. There's none now, I guess, or maybe there's some still being sold, but who the fuck is buying CDs anymore? But anyways, I played the crap out of that album over and over and over and over for weeks. That was all I listened to. Not only when I was feeling anxious, but like other times too. And it just, for some reason, like it brings me like a sense of joy to like think back on that time. It was my first experience living outside of prison. Like I got released from prison. Um, by prison, I mean my childhood home and family, and they kept me prisoner until I was like 18. But anyways, it was my first experience having my very own space with no toxic motherfuckers around me, and that I could do what I wanted, which for the rest of my 20s didn't go so well. But like in the beginning, I remember like listening, I would listen to her music and I would like think a lot about, I can't believe I'm finally on my own. I'm finally away from them. I can lock the door if I want to lock it. I can play the music however loud I want to play it because everybody else did in the dorms. Um, and it was just this huge sense of freedom. And I was anxious about just being in the military to begin with because while I grew up in the military, it's not the same as like joining yourself. So there was a lot of getting used to things, and there was a lot of anxiety associated with that. But I just would pop her album in, and um, it just made me feel happy. So I was listening to that recently, in case anybody has done stuff like that, which of course you have. Who doesn't like to listen to music that brings them back to good times? Anyways, also, I decided let me watch The Craft, the 1996 version, like the original The Craft with like uh Farouja Balk. I don't know how to say her name. Avril Lavigne. No, Avril was not in The Craft. Robin Tunney or Tooney, Rachel True, and Nev Campbell. The Bitches of Eastwick, I think is what three of them were referred to. But anyways, I was like looking for Halloween stuff to watch because I got done watching some cartoony things I liked, and I watched The Black Phone for the very first time, and I took a chance because the rating was under 7.0. But turns out that wasn't so bad considering it was like, a Halloweeny type of creepy movie. Because most of those are just usually really shitty. I don't know why people still make them. But I was watching The Craft and it just, unfortunately, it did take me back to like when I was in my a prison at home. But at the same time, I overplayed this movie. It brought me a lot of comfort. Back then I was like trying to figure out like my identity and stuff. Like I had a goth phase, which is when I started watching The Craft, and that ended, and I moved into the Jinko jeans wearing phase. Remember Jinko jeans? Oh, I loved those. Um, but anyways, like I just remember feeling a sense of safety and calm whenever I would watch that movie. I could get sucked into it, even knowing like exactly word for word most of the movie. So I watched that last night and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm at a place in life where these movies are old. Like you could just tell like the quality and stuff, and it's so interesting to me like how advanced technology and like TV and stuff. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? But so I did that too. Not that anybody asked. And by the way, I think, in my opinion, the best movie soundtrack is The Craft. Maybe the Romeo and Juliet one comes second because I did like that soundtrack too. But back in the day, I felt like movie soundtracks were pretty good, but those two were pretty great. In case anybody wondered, but probably didn't. Anyways, sorry about my brain to mouth function. So two good things happened recently. Yesterday, because Bella called me. We had Madeline over this past weekend, by the way, which went pretty good. But Bella, the older one, that like seems like a mini me of sorts. I was just getting ready to like take a shower, and the phone rings, and her face pops up, and I'm like, I stared at it. I was like, what is this? She's calling me for what? Um, because I don't get phone calls from people. So, anyways, I answered, and she just she was really anxious. She was outside taking a hike, and she just wanted some advice about how to deal with a family member. And I felt really anxious. I was like, me? I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, what the fuck does she want advice from me for? Like, who am I to be giving her advice? Who am I to be giving anybody advice? I don't even like the word advice. I prefer suggestions. Um, because I just don't like the word advice. Suggestion sounds better. So she explained the situation. I listened, um, offered her some suggestions, and it was less than 15 minutes we were on the phone. But by the end, she had calmed down and she was headed back home, I think. And I hung up and just sat for a few minutes because I can't recall anybody ever calling me ever simply because they were experiencing a problem and wanted some help with it. And I'm talking like outside of work situations, like those don't count. Like in my personal life, I can't recall somebody solely calling me, not the last choice, but the first choice, calling me and asking for help with something. That was weird to experience, and of course, I like ruminated afterward. I was like, were these the right suggestions to give? Like, I'm not a parent, like what do I know? But then I reminded myself that like her and I have a nice connection, and she seems to listen to some stuff that I say, and so I don't know. Just feel like really grateful that that happened. I didn't tell her, obviously. I didn't tell her on the phone, like, hey, this is the first time somebody's ever called me. Like, she didn't need to hear that shit. I'll tell her some other time. Um, I just am really grateful that that happened. Like, look at all these experiences that I'm allowed to have via a 16-year-old, and I'm in my 40s. And I just for like 2 hours yesterday, because I can't say that I experience joy very frequently, but for 2 hours, at least after that phone call, I was like, wow, like I felt calm, relaxed. Um, and that I just wanted to say that was really cool, and I really appreciated that. And today, um, I just got done with my very first Zoom group chat. I might have mentioned this before, but maybe not. So in case I didn't, on Substack like a month or so ago, I remember like posting just that I was struggling because of all the bullshit going on in this country and with like my thoughts and just having to experience all of these negative feelings on a daily basis about this crap, while trying to like interject some positivity here and there when I can, because I don't like to stay stuck in negativity for a long time, like really ever, but you know what I mean. Um, and so I really didn't think, I wasn't expecting to hear from anybody. I just wanted to put it out there because that's how I was feeling, and just in case anybody else was feeling that way. And I was surprised by the responses I got. And from that post, somebody suggested like a tiny Zoom chat for like regulation and stuff, and like co-regulation, and um to just be in the presence of other people. And so this person said, come as you are. And like I told them, I don't, I can't do video or audio with people I've never talked to before. Um, when, how do I explain this? I have audio processing issues, and I do find like watching things, but not participating, like in, I don't know how to say that. Um, Sorry. My anxiety does some weird shit to my sense of hearing when I'm on the phone with somebody I don't know very well or at all. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like when there's no pressure to like be on camera or something, or to like interact with people via video, like that, I feel way more calm, and I can understand what's being said. Like that's how, that's so weird. I don't even know how to put this correctly into words, but like I already have audio processing issues, but like put me in some sort of a phone call situation or chat with somebody I don't know these days, like no, I can't understand what you're saying. Because my brain is just going into freak out mode or something. I'm still trying to figure this out. Like why this happens. But anyways, so it was a small group. There were 6 of us, and I was so anxious because like this has been scheduled for a couple of weeks. So I had time to prepare, but I was so anxious um that I would be the only one communicating via the chat and not on video, and like what would other people think of that? And, you know, like I've never experienced anything like this before, and I just thought like would that be weird? Um and it turns out there was one other person that didn't do video at all, didn't do audio, and then there was another person that did video a couple of times, but was mostly not on video and not doing audio. And so like 3 people were on video, I believe. No, 4 were on video, and well, I don't know how to explain. 3 were on video, and 3 of us really weren't using video or audio. And I didn't expect to find people doing that. I thought it was just going to be me. Um, because everything revolves around me, and I have unique thinking. Don't worry, I'm not making a career out of singing. But yeah, I just was like, everybody's going to be on video. Everybody's going to be talking to each other, and I'm going to be like, I feel like a lurker in some ways, like I'm lurking. And what would, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect going into it, and it lasted for almost an hour. And by the end of it, all my anxiety was gone. Um, I felt a sense of belonging, and I was grateful for the things I learned from the person hosting the thing and from the other people that were talking and commenting in the chat. It was a really cool experience. Um, Total opposite of how I thought it would go. Not to mention, like, I think I've only joined a Zoom, I think. I don't remember what for, like one time years ago. Um, in technology, you know, like, how do I figure this shit out? Like, what buttons do I press? Like, how do I get into this thing? And So that was giving me anxiety, but I figured it out. And um, I guess now, like, we're gonna do this once or twice a month. And I am actually excited about that. And that feels like weird because I don't get excited about like people, like talking with people, but these are my people, neurodivergent people. Um, and they made me feel included. I didn't feel weird about like after 10 minutes I was like this isn't so bad, probably because others were doing it too. If they weren't doing that, I don't know, I probably would be still feeling a bit anxious. But the fact that other people did the same thing I did was amazing to me. And yeah, I learned like there are different ways to like have group chats. You don't have to be on video. You don't have to do audio. I didn't know that that was a thing. I just assumed that anybody doing like a video, like a Zoom thing, would be on video. Um, I didn't even know that there was an option not to be on video, I think. I must have had a bad experience the first time I did it because I don't fucking remember it. All I remember is I felt like super anxious, and that's it. That's all I took away from that experience. But this one was very good, and I feel really grateful. And I experienced co-regulation pretty much for the first time because I don't co-regulate with my wife. Um, it's weird to explain. Like, I don't feel like it's co-regulating for me. And I wonder if that's because is it an autistic thing? Probably not, but like I have a hard time, like I don't co-regulate with her because our nervous systems are wired differently, and I don't like I don't know how to explain it. Um but I did co-regulate with these people, and it was the best experience ever. Like talk about somebody going from I hate everyone, people suck for decades, and then finding out I'm autistic, and then experience this thing for the very first time. What an experience. This is like my mind is blown because I guess I'm kind of proud of myself too that I actually um I didn't avoid the thing because my anxiety usually tells me don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Um and I knew that this wasn't anything that was going to be harmful, but anxiety gets so bad. It's like talks you out of like so much. And turns out I was able to figure out how to get into the meeting quickly. Um I knew the people that were there because we've chatted online here and there. Um I just wanted to get on here and pretty much just say that really made my day. Like I've never experienced like feeling calm around other people like that, if that makes sense. And I'm looking forward to doing more of these because of how well this one went. And I don't know technology very well, so the person who sort of hosted it, like set up the chat or whatever. Um, I don't remember what I was gonna say just now. Yeah, I don't remember what that thought was. Sorry. But if anybody hasn't tried something like that, maybe like look around on the internet because I think I might do that later. Um, I'm not in any hurry to like join new ones right now, but um I want to just like I feel like I'm more open to checking stuff like that out, and I feel like I'm not going to be anxious with these upcoming group co-regulation chats. Does that make sense? My wording is not helping me today. Um I just feel joy. I feel like validated in a weird way. I feel understood because I gave my explanation because like oh, people throughout the years haven't quite understood things that I try to explain to them about myself. It's like I'm saying this thing about myself and you're telling me that that's not true. That's called fucking gaslighting. I'm so sick of that word. There's got to be like a better word for that because I know I overuse gaslighting, but for real, like that's what led me to not opening up very much with anybody because I didn't trust them. Um, and I didn't experience any of that today. Oh, I hear the dry mouth. Hold on. Don't know if that will help. Um, that little sip I took. But where am I at with time? Oh shit, 25 minutes? Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry this is longer than usual. I my sense of time is fucking warped. Warped. Okay, I hope this was relatable as always. If you have had experiences like with this chat thing before, I'd sure love to hear from you. Um, so I feel a bit less alone. And thank you very much for listening. I hope there was something. Okay, I already said that. Okay, bye.